Hey everybody, welcome back to Beyond the Metcon. So today's episode is going to be slightly different than normal. It's just me. Lambert is somewhere. No, not really sure. But no, what I'm wanting to do is kind of create a series where me or Lambert will talk to you guys just one on one, basically, where it's just me talking or him to kind of cover some topics that I feel like are important, but maybe not as important to produce like a whole hour's worth over, because I think that these smaller digestible podcast episodes will be fun. So today's episode, what I want to talk about is workouts or WODs, like what I see as a programmer or what anybody sees as that does any kind of programming. It's got to give you an idea a little bit about my background in programming and making up workouts and these things. Back in Oklahoma, I dabbled a little bit, obviously for myself when I very first started back 10 years ago. I don't know why I said obviously, but whatever. Uh, but whenever I started doing a ton of different programs, I would spend about 6, 8 months per program, just really diving into it, trying to grasp what I was doing, get an understanding. And most of these were, I wouldn't say, when I first started out, they weren't competitors programs. They were like CrossFit Mayhem from 2012 to 2014, like that era of gym programming. And it wasn't even Rich Froning programming for his gym of what he was doing like he kind of has now. It was just an everyday person doing these workouts. And me and my old boss and a couple other coworkers, coaches, would do these workouts with each other every day. We followed CrossFit Invictus for a little bit of just their general class programming. We followed, and this was just for us. We made up our own workouts for our class and our class's programming. But we as coaches did other programs just so that we could really see what other people were doing and what kind of like combinations of movements and time domains and all these different things, just so we could learn. And then I started doing more kind of competitors programming, so I could really see what that looked like, because I thought that was super intriguing to me back then, because that was when I was first starting out. I had aspirations to make the games and all these different things, and then reality kicked in, and I realized that I don't have the genetics to make it there. But that's beside the point. Over the years of doing these workouts from all these different programs, like I would follow one for say 6 months to a year, and then I'd switch it up. The things that I've learned from doing those was like pacing, what to expect in a type of format, like a 21-15-9 or 15-12-9, or like a chipper, like what to expect in these workouts, feeling wise, and then also like what's doable. Like, is this workout just absolutely ridiculous, or is it very well programmed and put together? Whenever I was doing these workouts, I would write down some things and just kind of learn. And then after a little bit, my old boss back in Oklahoma let me take over the class programming, and it was fun because I learned so much, what not to do, what to do, because I would write up a workout and in my head I'm like, okay, that's how this is going to go, and then when I'd watch it come to fruition in class, I was like, that's not how that went. And then also, over the years, I also learned how to program for large classes, just because our volume of membership went way up. So me and him would sit down and talk about it, like, okay, what's a flow if we have 20 people, 30 people, 15 people, like what does this look like? And then whenever I moved to Salt Lake, Tommy, he was doing the programming at the time, and he knows how to program from the beginner all the way up to the CrossFit Games athlete. And I always thought that was so cool, because for me personally, to take someone who has never exercised before, which was myself, to get them to doing CrossFit, say 3 to 6 days a week consistently and getting fitter and better, was relatively easy, because I had literally put myself through that. But to take someone who is a average athlete, say, or slightly above, to even further, was super intriguing. So whenever I moved here, like I'd asked Tommy tons of questions, and then he was like, hey, do you want to take over the programming? And I was like, well, I have done it once before in the past at my old gym, but I just did it for I think about 4 or 6 months then. So I took it over. and I was programming for the old Sugar House location and the downtown gym. And whenever I was programming for those two, they're two completely different setups, two completely different gyms. And programming for the downtown gym was way different because the layout was way bigger and had more space and all these different things. As the Sugar House, as a lot of you members that have been with us for longer than say 2 years remembers. Um, so I learned how to program in different formats for different amounts of people, different amounts of space, and all these different things. Whenever I'm looking at a workout, I try to break it down in a why and how, I guess you could say. The why is, why are we doing this? What is a reasoning for doing 21-15-9 of say deadlifts and handstand push-ups, which is Diane, or any other iteration of this type of workout, or any kind of a workout? Like, what's the reason why? Sometimes the why is to get fitter at X. So it could be like, okay, we're really going to fatigue your lungs, and then I want you to try to do handstand push-ups under fatigue, because now you're going to learn control and muscle endurance and these different things. Another thing could be, let's go like a death by workout, where it's like you're going to do one pull up at minute 1, 2 pull ups at minute 2, so on and so forth, until you get to a failure point. Because at that point, we are now putting so much volume under our belt, and then where's the breaking point? Some workouts is just how much can you grind and suffer. So like what I would call like manual labor style workouts, or grunt workouts as they're called, which would be like a sandbag over the shoulder into burpees, into say dumbbell box step ups or something. That there's nowhere to hide. It's just can you do this grunt work and keep moving forward? So doing the why first, and then the how. The how is going to be trying to make up a workout that the class can get through within the hour, and then how, as in like, what's the layout going to look like? If I go from this to this, this to this, what does that look like? And then if we times that by 20, because there's 20 people, what does that look like? So how can we get through this? So originally I did the programming for, I believe it was about 4 years, something like that. About 4 years for the gym. I learned so much in making up the workouts and seeing what was doable, what wasn't, what was too much and what wasn't, what was too little, and then how can I make that better, and those kinds of things. And then we started doing jump ship during the COVID shutdown, just so I could do another program without having to think about it. Go out in my garage, work out, don't have to think about it, and then go. And I really like the way that Seth over at Jump Ship program, because he doesn't skip over anything. We do muscle ups, we do squat snatches, we do air squats, we do it all. I really like that. The only thing that I've had my issues, I guess you could say in quotes, that with has more of the high skill things I feel like need more practice. So like if we're snatching, let's do more of like a snatch pull plus a hang snatch plus, those little things, just to try to break down the movements in individual sections, because then that's how you're able to progress. We can find where you're doing this movement wrong. Let's fix that and then move. Because 9 times out of 10 with a clean or a jerk or a snatch or a muscle up or like a butterfly pull up or something like that, typically it's the practice. We need to build some practice in these little movements, because they are so high skilled, like an air squat, a push up. I'll even go with like a burpee, something like that. It's just kind of straightforward. With a squat, yes, there's some things to think about. Weight in the heels, hips back first, those kinds of things. But for the most part, it's I'm going to show you this. Cool, you got it. Yeah, we can work on it, but for the most part, you're fine. Squat snatch, I can't just show you with a bar and then you have it. Muscle up, same thing. So we need to practice these things and work on it. So like that's kind of been my biggest issue with the jump ship programming. And if you guys haven't noticed, I've kind of started programming a little more practice things for these movements, and then workouts, kind of what's doable for us, because we do have a few of the extra bells and whistles like sled, ski ergs, mini rowers and bikes, and just the sheer space and volume of our gym, those kinds of things. So being able to program specifically for our gym with our setup is huge. Whenever I'm looking at a workout, I have an idea of how long it'll take, and that's why we kind of take a step back. We set time caps on workouts because we have an idea of how long a workout should take. Say a workout should take 10 to 12 minutes average. Obviously 11 is going to be your median with that. 10 is going to be on the faster side. 12 is going to be on a little bit slower side. So we'd set, okay, our workout's 10 to 12 minutes. I'm going to set a 14-minute time cap. The reason why is the 14 is because let's say you have your outliers that are a little bit slower to movement, or they're learning, or there's some aspect in this workout that this person is not getting, like someone that's going to be in that average 10 to 12. You want to kind of have a buffer window to give them a chance to complete it. But if you're taking longer than, say, that 14 minutes, then we're missing the mark. If the workout is a 400 meter run for time and it takes you, say, 6-8 minutes to get to that 400 meters, whenever a normal, like I would say a very median time for a 400 meter run is 2 minutes. I mean, obviously you have your outliers under over, but 2-minute 400 is a moderate pace for most people. Granted, like I said, you have your outliers, the slow people and the fast people. It's all over the place. But if it's taking you 5-6 minutes to get to this 400, we have definitely missed the mark. If we're doing, say, a 100-meter sprint, which I think Usain Bolt's is like 7 seconds or something. I don't know. I could be way off and someone's screaming at the computer right now or their phone like you're an idiot. But let's say on that 100-meter run, you're running as hard as you can and it takes you 2.5 minutes. Okay, so what we need to do is figure out a way to get you to expend as much energy as you can in a 10-second window. Then we're going to repeat that, depending on the workout, obviously. So having that idea of pacing is going to help you become fitter because there's a reason for that certain time domain to be worked and to get fitter. Also, kind of, I know I keep coming back to the runs, but think about weights for a workout. So let's say that the workout is Diane and we're doing 21-15-9 of deadlifts and handstand push-ups and the weight is 225, 155. So the reasoning for doing a work or a load like that at 225, 155 is going to be what is the amount of time it takes to get through 21 deadlifts at 225, 155. Should be easily less than a minute. I won't say easily because that's kind of a lot. But if we're looking at this workout and I'm trying to get you to do it in under 5 minutes, I think there have been some blazing times in those. Like under 2 minutes is moving. And people can do it. People can do it in a minute and a half. And people can do it in a minute 45, something like that. That is a lot of reps to get through really, really fast. And let's say as a female, you just blast through that 155. Perfect. You have hit the stimulus. But let's say that I was making the workout 315, 225, and it takes you 3-4 minutes to get through that 225 deadlift. Okay, well, we've kind of missed the mark. So whenever we're programming for weights and loads and distances and reps and these different things, we have in mind a stimulus of how long it should take you to get through X movement. If, let's say we're doing squat cleans and the RX weight is 90% of your 1 rep max, you're probably going to have a bad time because that weight is so heavy that it's now turned into a strength session that we're having to do 1 rep every minute or every 2 minutes because it is so heavy. Whereas it should be you're hitting a rep every 10 seconds at the least. Granted, that's all arbitrary, whatever. But at least we have an idea as a programmer and as a coach of the duration of these movements. So whenever you look at a workout that you're trying to figure out, like, okay, so how long should it take me to do a 400-meter run? You should start trying to learn these things because then once you learn your durations and how long it takes you to do, for me, I know burpees just destroy me every time. And for me to say, all right, 20 burpees, that's going to take me around a minute and a half, something like that, where smaller, lighter people or even people that are just good at getting off the ground, it might take them a minute. A 20-calorie row for a guy or, say, a 16-calorie row for a female average should take around a minute. For some people, it takes a little over. Some people, it takes a little under. There's always like a number that you should know how, like, if it's 20 calories on a rower, I have an idea. Like, I've done 20 calories on a rower in 30 seconds. In 25, 30 seconds. It killed me, but I was able to do it. Would I plan to be able to do that in a workout? No. because that is an all-out sprint, and that is going to tax me for any part left of the workout. Um, Always having an idea of how long a movement, that'll help you so much in improving your fitness. If you've hit a plateau really hard, take a step back. Are you going too heavy in the workouts and the movements? Is it too long of a distance to run to keep it at a certain pace? Is it these different things? Training these time frames can help improve fitness so much, and whenever you improve your fitness, you improve your health markers. There's a bell curve that CrossFit come out with. It's called the wellness, sickness, health continuum, and pretty much look at it as like a bell curve. The very far left that is down is going to be your sickness, like people are sick, your health markers aren't the best. In the dead center where it's as high as it is, that's going to be your wellness. That's where you're good. All your health markers are at optimum levels in the sense of like you're hitting your averages. And then you have your fitness, which is going to be your now getting way fitter. That's going to be more on the right side where that curve is coming back down. And that's where your averages and all your health markers have gone way up and above average. Attacking these workouts in a way that you can hit these time domains and hit these stimuluses and do these things can help make you stronger, fitter, healthier, all these things. And if you're constantly getting time capped in these workouts or constantly getting just buried in the weights, then we need to take a step back, because that's how, one, you get injured, because you're doing too much for your body to be able to handle in the sense of like load or just volume, meaning like amount of reps or those things. Or you're just digging yourself into a hole because you've gotten slower each time that you've done these runs or these double unders or these burpees. So it's like, how is a way that we can increase the speed without I would say like pulling away from the workout. So instead of just being like, I can't do these burpees, so I'm going to do something completely different. That's, to me, is pulling away from the workout. It's like, what is this workout intended for? What is the why? Why are we doing burpees right after a bike sprint? Or why are we doing double unders after we finish doing a 400-meter run? There's typically a reasoning for that. So if you ever look at a workout and you're not really sure, your understanding for it's a little off, ask your coach, ask me, ask anybody. There's a reasoning behind what we programmed, and there's a reasoning behind the movements that we've chosen and those things. Whenever I make up workouts also for our gym, I have an idea of our spacing, how long it takes to get from one movement to another. And that is honestly what a lot of people may not realize, is that how to get from one movement to another. A lot of times people are like, I'll be like, hey, go set your rower up by your bar. And they're like, no, I like the rest. And it's like, yes, but if we were to pull down that rest in that transition, yeah, you're going to be a little bit more tired. Yeah, the workout's going to be a little bit harder, but now you're pushing yourself past your threshold of your comfortableness. Getting uncomfortable a little bit in a workout is going to help make you fitter and help make you get closer to your goals that you originally set. I appreciate you guys listening to this little snippet of a podcast. If you have any suggestions or anything that you can think of that you want me to cover, please don't hesitate to comment or just let me know in the gym or text me or any of those things, and just let me know. And I will gladly talk about it. I'm going to try to kick these out a little more often than our podcast, which is like once every 6 months or so, just because I think it's fun to talk. And then also too, it's good for you guys to learn a little bit more of the behind the scenes and the why and these different things on programming and why we do CrossFit and why we work out hard every day. All right. Talk to you guys next time. Later.